Thank you for listening to SPN, the Savage Podcasting Network.
The Riverside County Film Commission and the Riverside County Economic Development Agency are proud to sponsor the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema. With a region of over 7,300 square miles, the Riverside County Film Commission works closely with all 28 cities located within its borders, as well as state and federal agencies, to help streamline your production and ensure its success, assisting with everything from permitting in all jurisdictions to finding just the right locations for your shoot and many other production necessities. Riverside County, the perfect fit for your next film production.
Since its opening in 2015, Faro Restaurant has been one of Idyllwild's leading restaurants, applauded for both its gracious service and casual take on fine dining. Nestled in the heart of the beautiful alpine village of Idyllwild, California, Faro is more than just great food and elegant surroundings. It's a treasure destination not to be missed. Faro Restaurant, an official sponsor of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema. It's Italian, elevated.
You're listening to The Stephen Savage Show on the Savage Podcasting Network. And now, here's your host, film and television director, Stephen Savage.
Thank you, Nicole. How's it going, everybody? Savage here with you for yet another episode of The Stephen Savage Show, the official podcast of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema. Podcasting as usual from Cranium Wheel Studios at Chateau Esteban in the beautiful alpine village of Idyllwild, California, just a couple hours east of Los Angeles, but a world away at nearly 6,000 feet, high atop majestic Mount San Jacinto and overlooking the great Coachella Valley. And as a reminder, this podcast, as with the Idyllwild Cinema Festival itself, is completely non-corporate, and all of our advertisers are specific to Idyllwild, California, including our official lodging sponsor, Talk Eats Pines Retreat, Idyllwild's premier venue for weddings, family reunions, romantic getaways, or just about any large or small gathering or event. So if you're coming to Idyllwild for the film festival next March or at any time during the year, you owe it to yourself to check out the many charming cabins and cottages that make up this amazing mountain venue. Check them out today and book your Idyllwild lodging at talkeatspines.com. That's TAHQUITZ, Talk Eats Pines Retreat. All right, my first guests for this episode are a pair of amazing documentary filmmakers, a couple of guys after my own heart, just by the obvious maverick way they go about making movies, which is what I love. And they brought to Idyllwild this past March a very cool doc called Driven by Angels, which is an intriguing look at renowned stuntman Vaughn Schaefer and his life developing the sport of, among other things, extreme skateboarding and taking a major toll on his body while he did that. And these guys are not just observer filmmakers. That I think they love to get right into the trenches with their subject matter, and it shows in their work. So let me welcome on via Zoom, tell me guys if I butcher your names, but Brett Buescher and Nick Costello. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on today.
Oh, thank you. Brett Buescher for me. You got Nick's correct. And I just want to say I saw a photo of your studio the other day. I think it was on Instagram.
Right.
It looks like a badass place. I thought I had a cool studio, but well done.
Yeah, it's not, I work in studios all day. I work at editing bays and recording studios at Paramount and at Warner Brothers, and they're all so sterile. They're beautiful, but they're just not what I like to work. I like to work in a more kind of hippie mountain vibe, and so this works for me, but I mean, it's state of the art, so what else can you ask for? Where are you guys zooming in from today?
So I'm in Grand Junction, Colorado, and Nick's about 90 minutes away from me. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, sorry. So first off, Mr. Savage, thank you for having us on this.
Of course.
We're so grateful and so blessed. And yeah, just like Brett said, your studio, top notch, and it's exactly up our alley. We've been in plenty of studios ourselves, but seeing the photos of what you're doing, we're like, all right, we're going to hang out with this guy regardless of the rest of the films that we make, because this is going to be great. But I'm in Basalt, Colorado, just about 20 minutes outside of Aspen, Colorado, over at my animal farm here.
Yeah, here was the mix-up, you guys. For some stupid reason in my head, I had you guys on the East Coast, and you had told me, I believe, Brett, that you were in Colorado. So I don't know why I was thinking East Coast, but so our little mix-up today on the time, we finally got it right. Here we are. But yeah, that was all my bad. For some reason, I had you guys on the East Coast. So yeah, and thanks for the compliments on the studio. I think you guys are also clicking onto the idea that there always seems to be really pretty women around. I don't know why, but they like my studio. So yeah, some of the pictures. It's a cool place to create. It's a cool place to not just do podcasts, which is just a little bit of what I do. I do mostly film editing here, and then other things film related, but I'm having fun producing podcasts, not just for the film festival, but for other companies that I've signed on with to help them get going. So anyway, let's get into Driven by Angels. It's a very intriguing and a very American movie, and you guys missed a year because up until last year we had the John Ford Traditional American Film Awards, and because of you guys, I'm going to bring that back because you would have been perfect for that award. I love I try to name a lot of our awards after my heroes, my American filmmaker heroes, including the John Milius Award, just because that's who I am, an American filmmaker. But anyway, your movie, Driven by Angels, you guys won, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, Best Editing for a Documentary, and you guys won the Festival Ambassadors Trophy, which is a big deal in Idyllwild. And I think you got a runner-up Vanguard Award for cinematography, was that right?
Yep. Yeah, also a Vanguard for Best Director.
Oh, sweet. Cool.
Yeah, and the Ambassador Award. So,
but didn't we get People's Choice or Audience Choice? That's what we were.
Did you?
Which was crazy. Yeah, we were blown away.
Oh, wow.
By that. Yeah,
That's very cool.
We won the Audience Choice Award, and we were like,
wow.
Are you freaking kidding? Compared to the other films that were out there at. By the way, I don't want to overtalk anyone, but Mr. Savage, it's going to be the last time I compliment you too much. But holy crap, dude, what you built up in Idyllwild, I mean, the International Festival of Cinema, like, we had never felt so at home.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we got off of, and started heading up towards Idyllwild and got off of the highway.
Right.
My goodness, dude. We felt like we were back in Colorado.
Right.
We had a 22-passenger van for three of us because that was all that was left. And let's just say I was driving, and we drove it as if Vaughn was on that drive. And it was really fun, and we felt at home the second we planted and set foot in Idyllwild. So thank you.
That's great. I say it ad nauseum, but I don't really run the film festival. But I'm the face. I give speeches, wave my little hat, invite my famous and infamous friends, and my job is mostly to be the liaison between the grand jury, our very well-known grand jury, and the festival. But mostly it's run by the ambassadors, which is why I say it's such a big award that you guys won the Ambassadors Trophy, because they, along with our executive producer Trinity Houston's company, IM3 Global, they're the ones that really run the festival. I don't look at even any of the movies until sometime in February. I start watching, and I watch what I watch based on the audience votes, the gatekeeper votes, to tell the grand jury what films to watch for. And you guys had such high marks that was what drove me to watch the movie in the first place. So congrats on the film.
Thank you.
Awesome. It's just an awesome job, and it's really, I'm hoping it ends up, I want to introduce you to I don't know what your distribution plan is now, or if you have distribution, but I'm going to introduce you to somebody I think would be really good for you guys to get your movie where it needs to be, because people need to see it. It's really cool. especially from a California boy. I was born and raised here, and it's just got a vibe that won't quit. So,
thank you so much.
What was the journey and what was the spearhead for this documentary? Aside from Vaughn himself, he was a wild man. So you guys had to be wild men yourself just to take him on as a character alone. But how did the film come about? And give our listeners a rundown to start with, just what the documentary is about, and then let us know how you guys came to make it in the first place.
Brett, do you want me to run with this one?
Yeah, Nick met Vaughn a couple of years before me, so I think it would be best for you to start it up.
Cool.
So really, I used to have a restaurant. Food is my thing, and food, film, and fun. Mm-hmm. But either way, Vaughn being an artist, which I have an art studio up here as well. I wanted to learn the true, real deal skill of original blacksmithing. And
wow,
Vaughn, he's third generation blacksmith. Mm-hmm. I wanted to learn how to make Damascus steel knives. That's really how this came about. And, he's had friends up in this valley for multiple decades that he's never let apprentice under him.
Right.
And then Vaughn's old ass, he calls me up one Sunday before I know anything about his skateboarding background. He calls me up this Sunday. He's like, hey, Nicky, you want to learn my craft? I'm like, well, no shit, Vaughn. I've been trying to for a while. He's like, all right, you start tomorrow. I'm like, Vaughn, I've got shit to do. Like, I'm involved with a lot of work and projects. And he's like, take it or leave it, now or never. And so I didn't have a freaking choice.
Right.
And so I dropped everything that I was doing. And then, I go into the shop and really dive deep into it. And I see all of these, crazy looking old skateboards with, Brett and I having, long history of skateboarding. And I'm like, what the heck is this about? And what the heck is up on that shelf, that freaking metal plank with skateboard wheels on it and a freaking motor? And so then I started digging deeper into Vaughn's story, because I was actually about to start filming a TV show up here in the Aspen Valley, testing the goodwill of the uber wealthy, which I was told not to do, which we can get into another time. But the bottom line is, after learning Vaughn's story, I immediately called Brett, because I was advised not to do the TV show and to focus on something to get my name or our name out there more than just action sports, to do something a little bit more heartfelt. Mm-hmm. And immediately, my brother, since 3 and 4 years old, I immediately thought of Brett. And so I called Brett and said, this is a story the world needs to know. And then that's where it started.
Have you heard about the Art Alliance of Idyllwild? Our mission is to create community through art. This year's calendar of events to support that mission is May 30th, Summer Kickoff, July 18th, Home Studios Tour, August 8th, Plein Air Festival, September 5th, Here and Now, October 10th, Art Walk and Wine Tasting, December 4th, Art Cake Giveaway, December 5th, Winter Solstice Show. Visit artinidylwild.org and follow us on Instagram at Art Alliance of Idyllwild for details.
It's cool, it's hip, and it's where Idyllwild goes for burgers, fries, sub sandwiches, ice cream, and more. Atomic Cow, downtown Idyllwild, California. Official sponsor of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema. Fast, fierce, and filmmaker friendly. Be there or be square. Atomic Cow.
No small mountain village would be complete without its favorite local breakfast spot. And the Red Kettle restaurant in Idyllwild, California is just that place. As Idyllwild's premier downtown breakfast and lunch restaurant, the Red Kettle is exactly what you'd expect. Great food, friendly service, and quaint small town charm, the Red Kettle is the heart of Idyllwild's village life. And as an official sponsor of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema, all festival badge wearers are treated to a 10% discount on every order. The Red Kettle restaurant, Idyllwild, California. Home-style cooking all year round.
For over 70 years, the historic Rustic Theater and Entertainment Center in Idyllwild, California, has been the home for movies and live events for all of the communities that encompass the San Jacinto mountain range. And as the forever home of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema, the Rustic has played host to some of the greatest indie films from around the world, as well as blockbuster first-run movies and music and comedy events. And the Idyllwild Festival has been proud to call the Rustic its home base since 2010. So, whether you're in Idyllwild for the film festival, hiking or rock climbing, or just exploring the beautiful mountain village of Idyllwild, California, make sure to add the Rustic Theater to your list of must-visit spots. For a beer or fine wine at the Rustic Tavern, a tasty meal from the snack bar, or just a great movie date or family night out, the Rustic Theater and Entertainment Center is the right choice in Idyllwild. Pop in and say hello.
But this guy, to just meet this guy in the first place, I mean, he's one of a kind. I mean, one of a million kinds. You know, I mean, he's literally a one in a million guy. And so when you met him and he's asking you to jump on board on some different things that obviously intrigued you to begin with, I mean, that must have been a big surprise to begin with. I mean, right off the bat, like you said, you didn't even know I got a life here, and then you just took the dive.
Well, I mean, call it what it is. Vaughn is, I've been very fortunate to be accepted into this valley, being what the Aspen and Roaring Fork Valley call down valley trash, because it's down valley being from Grand Junction. But I hope you understand the joke behind that with Aspen being the billionaire's playground.
Right.
But so I knew about his art. I knew a little bit of his stunt stuff. And I was just enamored because everywhere I went with Vaughn, before even Brett got to meet Vaughn, not a single person in this entire valley had a negative thing to say about him. Everywhere you went, I mean, he was like the mayor.
Yeah.
And he's like the mayor up here. And I'm like, who the hell is this dude taking me under his wing and why? And so I had to dive deeper, and then learning the story of his life, I'm like, holy shit, dude, this is about bringing good to people and inspiring people. Like, and that's really it.
Right. It is funny how sometimes we just, when you look back on it, we choose our mentors. It seems like, well, I just met this guy and he decided to take me under his wing. And a lot of times that happens after you kind of introduce yourself with the intent in the back of your mind that, man, I want to learn from this person. That same thing happened to me. My first real mentor during my film school days at LA Film School was Baird Bryant, Baird was a cinematographer who was living in Idyllwild. He was in his 80s. He was 82, I think. And I had a thesis film I needed to shoot, and I knew who Baird was, but I didn't have the guts to go knock on his door. But he shot a major part of Easy Rider. Yep. He was just a camera op. He wasn't the DP, but he turned out to be the DP because, it just the way it happened. But then he was the guy who shot all of that footage where the Hells Angels stabbed that kid at Altamont when the Stones were on stage. All of that was his. So he made most of his money selling his old stock from historic stuff he had shot. And I knocked on his door and just said, this is crazy. Yeah, I know you're not going to do it, but would you shoot my thesis film? And he goes, oh, yeah, sure. How long is it? Is it like a 10-minute short? And I go, no, it's a 90-minute feature. And he just looked at me weird and he said, yeah, okay. And he just did it. And it sounds like you had the same experience with Vaughn, is that he was kind of almost dragging you after the fact into his world, which is just the way it happens. So congrats on that.
You have no idea what more is not even in the film about what Vaughn does and why Brett and I were so just completely blown away by him. Yeah. First off, he lives up in, I say I live in the middle of nowhere. This son bitch lives literally in the middle of nowhere. And from his driveway to the paved road, it's just over 2 miles. So every January for his birthday, he has over, 32 of the Red Flyer original, like toboggan, individual person sleds.
Yeah.
And he holds a race with all of these pro athletes, all of these stuntmen. I mean, some of the biggest names in the action sports world.
Mm-hmm.
And this old bastard, no matter what, wins every single year against some of the top athletes in the world. He is he's changed action sports and stunts in Hollywood, and very few people know what he really has done to help progress the industry.
Right.
Yeah, and one of my favorite quotes from the whole film is when he says, I live, whatever it was, an hour from the nearest gas station and 30 years from the rest of the world. And like, there's no Wi-Fi up there.
Yeah.
Like, you're just out there having fun in the woods. And there's nothing he loves more than just hosting people at his cabin.
Right. Yeah.
Lots of guns, lots of motors, and lots of jumps. And one of the most iconic views overlooking Mount Sopris down the entire Aspen and Roaring Fork Valley. There's Stephen, listen, we're done explaining that. Get your ass out here and we will show you a time that you will never forget, and we'll be hanging.
That's cool. My next, not the feature I'm shooting this year, which we start in May and it goes for a few months, but the one I'm shooting next year, which is in development right now, is a Western that takes place in 1924, and we're shooting in Monument Valley and in parts of Colorado. So I'll make sure you guys have all the info on that, because it'd be great to see you come out to location. And yeah, I like that.
My God.
I like that era of time, the early 20s, when a lot of cowboys came back from Europe, came back from war, and had nothing to do, so they became cowboys again, and some of them started robbing banks, and it was a resurgence of Western outlawry in the Southwest and in the West in general, just because these guys came back from war and didn't know what the hell to do. But anyway, you guys would love this movie. It's going to be cool.
I am sorry to interject on this, but this is another reason why we all are talking. The connection that my grandfather and family has with that exact thing you're talking about. Mm-hmm. He retraced the old Spanish Trail, was just inducted in the Colorado. Well, just all I'm saying, after this, you and I are going to hop on a phone call, and he helped retrace the old Spanish Trail, one of the first white men to be accepted into the Ute Indian tribe. Mm-hmm. And his ties with exactly what you're talking about, really weird. So thanks again for having us on, man. You
No
keep
worries.
rocking.
There's I read a book somebody just handed to me one time at the film festival and said this would make a great movie. Well, it turned out he's the guy that wrote it. He self-published it, but that's what it was all about. It was called Cowboys and Gangsters, and I think you can get it on Amazon, but it's so interesting. I just dove into it, and the thought that there were guys out there with Winchesters and Colts on their hips and riding horses while they were being chased by lawmen and Model T Fords and biplanes. And I just went, somebody's got to make movies about this era, because it's, little known.
That's Brett's dad, Lou Dog, who passed away in the film, who got us to the world record.
Right.
That is Brett's dad.
Huh.
That is Lou Buescher, King Louie, in the film. Oh my goodness, this is way too weird, buddy. way too weird.
The same thing kind of happened after World War II as well. That's how we got the big Hells Angels and the biker gangs, because these guys were trained to kill. They'd be over there in the Western theater and some of them in the Pacific, and came back, and there just wasn't much to do, not many jobs open. And so some of these guys who had been at war on motorcycles and learned to wrench on them and ride them, and they came back and started these groups, and that's how. So war can really add a lot to the culture, especially in America. It's real Americana. But so let's get back to the movie, because that's what drew me into the movie. When I saw that you guys had all of these, we judge everything, our team, on a 5-star basis in every category, and when the ones that get the highest star marks are the ones that are sent to me that I watch, that I then recommend to the grand jury. And so you guys were on that list. And so the minute I watched it, I went, man, this is pretty amazing. But I wanted to bring back the John Ford Award, as I said, just because of you guys. But then I went, no, that's not fair. We didn't have that as a competition to start. But yeah, we're going to bring it back. But so I want to get to your, how much film experience did both of you guys have? I mean, actually going into this, it's a well done documentary. The camera setups are professional. It doesn't look like a YouTube video, and your use of archive footage is brilliant. Had you guys done docs before? Enlighten me on this.
Well, Nick's he's a big personality. He's just always been told by anybody he meets, like, why do you not have a TV show? Like, why are you not on social media? Like,
right.
Everybody is just attracted to him and they want to spend time with him. And for myself, the only reason I ever picked up a video camera is because I wanted to be sponsored for snowboarding. And I grew up in the skateboard culture, and just me and my group of high school friends, when I was 15, we just wanted to film our tricks on the snowboards and the skateboards and send a sponsor me tape to like any of our favorite companies that we would just love to be a part of it. And so that is the only reason I picked up a camera. And there's a lot of ups and downs throughout my years, but I ended up falling more in love with the film side than the action sports side.
Yeah, we have so much coincidence and like-mindedness going in here. So that was my first foray in high school into filmmaking. Was we surfed. I was born on the ocean.
No way!
And
that's so cool.
I was by far the least surfer among my group of guys. So
you were still probably a badass.
Yeah, I was doing it, but I wasn't. Some of these guys were just, and I was privileged to know them, and some of these guys who were like could have been world class if some of them hadn't gotten into other weird things. But I ended up picking up a camera just to do just that, to videotape my friends, and I do literally mean videotape in those days. And I'd be on the pier or I'd be on the beach, wherever I could get the good angles, and that became my gig and my way of connecting even more with these hot dogs who were so good on a board. And all of a sudden, I became the cool dude who would show them how cool they were on the water. And then when I learned how to edit, it was like, gee, this is so much fun. And that's so weird. You guys, we're Nick, you and I are kindred spirits there for sure.
Well, this is one crazy thing. So I feel like Brett being
Brett, that's what I meant. Sorry, Brett. You're
fine.
Yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah, we're kindred spirits in that way.
The one thing that Brett never does is really talk himself up. Brett has done so much more than just action sports and all of that. But back in reference to you being able to show these surfers, it's the same thing with Brett. Like, we've all worked with some of the biggest names, blah blah blah, in action sports, but when they get to see a trick that they're doing, they get to see an aspect of their life. That is why film is so powerful, and that is why these people push themselves even harder. And even with actors and actresses, the way the world is, I mean, call it what it is, influenced and it inspired, especially in this day and age. And it's been like that for a century, but it's through film. And Brett expresses himself through film. He has the biggest heart you've ever met, and he expresses it through film, and he loves to see other people get jazzed and want to push themselves to another level. So Brett is not just sports, it's so much deeper.
Brett, how long, if you're like me, it probably wasn't long, but how long before you started getting tricky and fabricating insert shots and things like that? Because that's what I did. I got bored very quickly just shooting long shots of my friends out in the water. I started adding, establishing shots and inserts and trying to tape the camera to a board so it looks like somebody was actually out there on the waves while I was filming. How long did that process take for you?
It took a while, actually, because one of the biggest takeaways, we've only been to like 2 of these festivals. Like, we're so new to this world, but like talking to so many of the incredible filmmakers and hearing that these guys made like features and won awards, and they only had like 2 or 3 days on set. But coming from like the snowboard skateboard world, it's like, as long as I end up with like 1 or 2 clips out of this whole day of filming that took so much effort to even get out there, make it on the mountain, and then hopefully the lighting is good enough,
right,
and the sun is out, and then to execute, stomp the clip on film, and maybe you're coming away with like, I don't know, 5 seconds, 20 seconds at best. And it's interesting when like people learn about the world that we came from, because how many days do you think we filmed, Nick? Like probably 100 different days.
It was outrageous. This has been 3 years in the making, almost 2.25 years of shooting in total. But the story just kept getting deeper, and there was so much more that we ever realized, to the real depth of why we were doing this project. And just like Brett said, watching what Brett has done in his career, and I've known him since I was 4 and he was 3 years old. His closest brother in age, my best friend, who passed away, is tattooed on my leg. So we were basically, Brett used to look up to us, and now I look up to Brett for advice on everything. It's crazy, but to see what time and dedication he puts into just 30 seconds of a clip, a minute of a video,
right?
That's weeks and weeks, if not longer, just to get that perfect shot. And so that's why I immediately, not just because of our family ties and our love for each other, is why I was like, Brett has the spirit, the love, the drive, and the knowledge and know-how and the eye to do this. So that's how that was.
What I don't see you guys as just one-offers. I know you've got projects in mind. What can you tell us about that you've got coming up? I know there's got to be stuff that you're percolating right now.
Brett, do you want to go on that one, or do you want me to?
I'll let you get this one.
All right. So, well, Steve, there's a lot that we've been lucky enough, because as soon as people kind of started seeing what we were doing, the whole point behind all this we didn't start this thing just no offense, but just to fulfill Vaughn's dream of hitting a world record. We have seen so many films, and there's a lot of stuff in the works, but it really, we don't want to do anything that's not making people smile, have fun, and be inspired. And we're going to hit all levels of that. But we are hoping, we can't tell you too much yet. Okay. We can't tell you too much yet, but yes, there's other ones that are in the works, and we really hope that you guys accept us next year. But they are about inspiring people. They're going to be very fun, very playful, and it has to do with realizing the fragility of life. I don't care what your age, your habits, your lifestyle choices, any of that, no matter what, any one of us can be taken from this earth at any second without notice. And we just want people to realize that and not be dicks and do right for other people. I mean, fuck, that's all we really care about is seeing other people smile and other people want to hold the door open for somebody and not look to get acknowledgement from it. Like these people on social media that are posting these videos or whatever just to like get attention for trying to do good deeds. It doesn't matter. That's great. You're doing good deeds, but you don't need to do that stuff just for attention. You do it because it's the kindness of your heart and realizing that everybody else can do the same thing. So that's kind of where at least I believe Brett and I stand with this.
Why don't you guys do me a favor and tell us, each of you, one thing about Vaughn that drew you to him in the first place, other than introductions and everything. What was that moment that you said, I want to tell this guy's story? And I want both of you to let me know that, because both of you put a lot of love and dedication into this thing. And he's the guy that was kind of the antithesis for the whole thing. So I'm curious as to what made this guy stick out to you enough to say, we want to tell his story.
For me, like when Nick brought him to my attention, and we were trying to find a way to work together on a film, but Vaughn is a skateboarder, and I've been like very heavily in the skateboard scene, especially these last 10 years, because I run a skateboard app called Street Kingpins. And it's basically, it's like the number one competitive skateboard app where everybody in the world can compete with each other. And we've just been doing it for so long, and I've met like a lot of my heroes and like have felt very welcomed by the skateboard scene, which means the world to me. But then for Nick to bring this guy, Vaughn Schaefer, to me, and I'd never heard of him before, and I see this footage and all of these records, and eventually got to meet him in person. And it was like, how do I not know about this guy already? And I almost like felt bad for him that just the whole skateboard world forgot about this legend. And I mean, from that point, my biggest goal was to make the skateboard remember Vaughn Schaefer again.
That's a great answer, man.
Well, Steven, did you not notice at Idyllwild how no matter where Vaughn went, he had a freaking just straight following of people who wanted to be like, who the hell are you? Before even seeing the film, he has an aura about him, and his heart is real, and he's been just like through all of us, whatever. Just not saying us three. Everybody has been through some heavy stuff in their life, and Vaughn, he just carries himself in a way that you don't see, and I just wanted to understand why everywhere he went is he took me under his wing before letting me apprentice just as a friend, because we're both a couple of nut jobs and we live life to the fullest, I guess you'd say. But, just like in Idyllwild, everybody wanted to ask, who the hell are you? And man, he's batshit fucking crazy. He's just like Brendan Fraser and Encino Man, who got dug up from a goddamn swimming pool, who's been encased in this freaking ice block for centuries.
He's definitely a throwback, that's for sure.
Yeah, but so no, it's just how he carries himself and his demeanor and why he cares more about others than himself, which is a really good way to deflect from your own problems. But he just wants to bring good to others, and that's why we did this.
You guys, I doubt you've rehearsed these answers, but they're like perfect. It's all great.
This is my first podcast in about 8 years, so wow. I'm just excited to be part of this.
Cool. Well,
I don't even know how to write. Okay, so like it's all off the cuff. Brett will sometimes tell me like, "All right, we're gonna do these scenes, and I want you to say these things." If someone asks, I'm like, Brett, I don't do that, dude. This is 100%. We just go with the flow and be real, because we've seen so many things of people that like you can tell they're rehearsed.
Mm-hmm.
This film, there is nothing rehearsed at all. We didn't plan on reactions. What you see in the film is completely real. Nothing about it was staged, and nothing about it was reshot to make it more emotional or make it more dramatic. Like, this is the real deal.
And that's one of the most exciting parts during the production process is, we talk about it. We have like 2 or 3 different ways we think this film might end, and we're just there to capture it. And it's a true documentary, and it ended in a way we never thought would be there, and just all the twists and turns along the way. We try to keep it as like genuine and as raw as possible. And it was very natural process.
Well, it was well done, no matter what. People who aren't even into any sort of extreme sports or, anything like that will find this documentary pretty amazing. So congrats, you guys.
That's exactly what Julie said. And first off, I want to give thanks to, not just you, Steve, but the whole ambassadors, not just because we won the ambassador's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were so well accepted, and we'd submitted and we'd won stuff at a bunch of these international festivals or whatever, but we didn't have the budget to go out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come out to Idyllwild, and first Doc Utah was our first real experience.
Mm-hmm.
Tisa Vito and Carmen out there, they gave us kind of, I guess, some serious confidence. But then when we showed up to Idyllwild, dude, Julie, Faye Brenner, and just the whole ambassador crew. And then, just to name a couple of films, right off the cuff, Joe and Bill with Devil Returns, to Monolith, the Wellness Group, Mary Lou, Justin, all of them. And then Harry and Kai and Jordan from The Interview, and then the dudes from Pieces of Lilo. Dude, and Eve Austin, they know that we've made some films, but nothing like this.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of the archival footage, Chris Tribble, but they just believed in us.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted to help. They just were I don't know. It was really, really fulfilling for us and made us realize that what we did resonated with people. And that's all we cared about. Mm-hmm. It was just about that.
Well, it worked on all levels, so congrats, man. And there you go, everyone. I want to thank Brett and Nick for coming on today and bringing Driven by Angels to the festival. It's an amazing doc, and I'm hoping many, many more people get to see it over the coming few years, because it's well worth watching, and it's intriguing, and you kind of get glued to the story. So anyway, thanks for being on board today, and no pun intended, for being on board.
Nice.
Yeah, just once again, thanks for coming on.
Steve, thank you. And after this, there's so much more for us to talk about. That's going to be amazing. And we look forward to seeing you seeing you here in Colorado. And we're going to come just force ourselves on you, not in a weird way. But we will see you. We will see you out there shortly.
Good. Sounds good. All right, everyone. And we will be right back after these messages from our Idyllwild sponsors. Thanks again, you guys.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much, Steve. This has been very incredible for us. And thank you for doing what you do for filmmakers all over the world, really, at this point.
Thanks, guys. You're the kind of guys that make it worth it. All right. We will be right back.
At Pure Bean Coffee, Idyllwild, California's premier boutique coffee house, our passion is roasting the highest quality coffee for the most discerning coffee lovers. Our beans are ethically sourced and hand-selected from the world's finest coffee regions. You will notice the enhanced flavor nuances and low acidity with your very first taste. And as a proud sponsor of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema, It's our wish to make the best impression possible on filmmakers and attendees from around the globe. So whether it's your first cup in the morning, a midday pick-me-up, or an evening taste of excellence to top off your day, always remember, we at Pure Bean love coffee as much as our customers do.
Every small town has that one special spot, a place where strangers become friends and friends share great times together. Idyllwild, California has just that spot, Terrence Place Pub and Gallery, where live music and good company create amazing memories. We feature fine wines along with international and domestic tap beers. Our vibe is welcoming, fun, and eclectic. Terrence Place Pub and Gallery is proud to be an official sponsor of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema. Come and experience the alpine charm of Terrence Place, located in the Village Lane in downtown Idyllwild, California. We invite you to stop by and have a great time.
Born out of creativity and desire, the Peak Restaurant and Bar at Tahquitz Pines is a must-see experience for anyone visiting the beautiful alpine village of Idyllwild, California. Featuring a mix of local and international cuisine, the Peak Restaurant and Bar is the centerpiece of the Tahquitz Resort. Set amid gorgeous mountain surroundings and miles of hiking trails, the Peak is unlike any other eatery around. And as an official sponsor of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema, the Peak is home of the event's famous Filmmakers Village every year. The Peak Restaurant at Tahquitz Pines Retreat. Come dine with us.
All right, our next guest today is a guy who is no stranger to the Idyllwild Cinema Fest and was, in fact, a returning filmmaker a few weeks back, and this time around ended up taking the Best Featurette and the Best of Festival awards for his newest film, Blue Evening. Quite an accomplishment, and he's zooming in today to talk about that and many other things, so let me welcome onto the show writer and director Jet Jansen. Jet, how are you, man?
Good, brother. Thank you so much for that amazing intro, by the way. Do you work on commission?
Well, it was just funny that I knew you were at the festival, but we didn't have a lot of time or chance to hang out. But then as I was co-hosting the award ceremony with Kobe Connell, and I realized, wow, the dude's cleaning up. Good for him. So congrats. Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much, brother.
Yeah, it's good. Where are you zooming in from today?
Right now, I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Gotcha. I know you travel around a lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here in the Oasis of Freedom.
There you go. Awesome. That's what my brother calls it too. He moved to Florida a few years back, and he's lapping it up, man, as he just hangs out on the Gulf side and enjoys his what I call his old man beach life. He's way too early to retire, but seems like that's what the mantle he's taken on is retired dude. So it's
smart man.
It was. Let's get to Blue Evening, your film. Was Idyllwild the premiere screening of that, or were you at other film festivals before that?
We had been doing really well, actually. We had been screening for a bit all over the place.
Yeah,
and
I thought so.
Yeah, and the response has been crazy. I mean, we've won Best Picture in New York, Vegas, a bunch of places in LA, London. I mean, we were not expecting the response that it got, but very, very happy that it's getting such a positive response.
That's very cool. Real quick, your name, Jet Jansen, I think is as cool as Steven Savage ever would be. But you had told me you have, like me, no one would really guess it or whatever, but you have a Spanish or Latino background as I do, and your professional name is Jet Jansen, but you're Jet Jansen Fernandez, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Whenever I direct and write, I go with Jet Jansen Fernandez. If I'm just acting, I just go with Jet Jansen. But I am 100% Cuban. Well, I was first in my generation born in Miami, so first of my whole family born in America. My family came over from Cuba in the 80s, escaped communism. But I'm Cuban.
That's very cool, man. That's great. Do you know Oscar Torre, the actor Oscar?
No, it sounds familiar though.
Yeah, Oscar's done a lot of stuff. You'd know him as soon as you saw him. In fact, he was one of the leads in Tyler Perry's The Haves and Have-Nots, which ran for about 5 years. Anyway, he's Cuban born, and I think you Cubans have a very unique outlook on filmmaking. It's a little different, and I think you have very much a freedom first kind of vibe to you. You guys have that, and I appreciate it a lot.
Yes, yeah, we definitely have freedom first ideas. And not only from Cuba, but as a young kid, I traveled to Venezuela, Caracas, Venezuela, when I was 11. I did a USO tour of Korea, so I know exactly what the countries look like firsthand when they don't have freedom.
Yeah, he actually did one of the biggest Spanish language films, and it was a Cuban produced movie. God, I wish I could remember it, but look it up, everybody, on IMDb. Oscar Torres movie where it's about two guys who take a raft and head for Florida, and it's intriguing and it's gut-wrenching, and it's a really well-made film. So, and it made a lot of money, so that's a cool thing too.
That's cool. Yeah, we all have those stories. My family. I had an uncle in Miami who was a bit of a scumbag, but R.I.P. at the time. We're talking early '80s in Miami,
right?
And he actually paid drug runners to bring my family over on drug boats because it was the only guaranteed way. Either you make your own raft and you risk drowning, or you pay drug runners to put you on one of those drug boats.
That's right. Yeah.
And then my family came over on drug boats.
Good for them. Libertad. That's what it's called. Libertad is the movie's title.
Oh, nice.
Really good movie. So aside from winning some major awards, good for you. How was your experience overall at Idyllwild this year? And you came with some friends, did you not?
Yeah. The first day I came with my director of photography, D'Angelo Harding, who was the DP on Blue Evening, and then he had to go work. And then my other buddy came in, who's a fight designer, action designer, fight choreographer, Alvin Singh. He just choreographed the new Scott Adkins action film, Prisoner of War. So he came on the second day. I loved Idyllwild. I mean, I was with you guys several years earlier in Scotland.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you came to the Scotland Film Festival.
Yep, and I ended up winning Best Actor there.
Sweet.
Which was an honor for me because I had no idea it was going to happen to win the top acting award. Because for that picture, I helped produce a little bit of it and I just acted in it. So winning Best Actor was great, and your seminar on Casablanca I thought was brilliant.
Oh, thanks, man.
Loved it. Big bogey guy, so I love that. With this Idyllwild, the competition was difficult. A lot of great pictures.
Yeah.
So truth be told, I was like, man, if I could just win the John Milius Award,
right,
I'd be happy because I'm a fan of his. I love Conan the Barbarian and Dirty Harry, and I had yet to get a writing award yet for Blue Evening. I've got a couple of directing awards and some Best Pictures, and I'd be cool as a writer director. I want to check that box. So all the screenings were great. You guys throw such an amazing festival, and I've been to several. Loved it. And then, I got my name called up and ended up winning the John Milius Screenplay Award. And I'm thinking, good, we did it. I can just relax.
Yeah.
Then I get called up, then my actor wins. And then I get called up for Best Picture. And I'm like, whoa, so now I'm already cloud nine. Can't wait to get downstairs and buy a Bloody Mary, celebrate. And then you guys call, I ended up winning the Best of Festival, which nobody was expecting. It was so surprising and shocking. And I felt very, very honored and pleased and just thankful that happened.
Yeah, it's also rare for a featurette length movie to win that Best of Festival. It's happened in the past. We had a couple of short films in the past win Best of Festival, but it's usually feature films or a big documentary, But yeah, I was glad to see it, and I'm happy for you on the John Milius thing. Now you just have to meet John, and I would
love that. I'd bow like it's like a martial arts bow to him.
He's an interesting cat, man, but he's fun. He's fun to have conversations with. You're like me when you get. It's not about movie stars and things like that. Your heroes are guys like that who, just their track record is amazing. And I remember I'm a big Yankee fan. Just love New York Yankees. Don't ask me why. I'm not a New York guy. Been there, but I'm not a New York guy. But always loved the Yankees. And then I started collecting Yankee crap. Just memorabilia stuff.
Yeah.
And I started dating a girl who was I'm not going to say who, but anyway, she was the ex-girlfriend of a big Yankee shortstop. So you'll know if it's. But anyway, and my brother called me. He saw a picture of us online. He goes, "Hey, you got the ultimate Yankee memorabilia now."
Yeah,
that was pretty funny. But yeah, I major awards are nice, man. They just are, but especially when you covet them and you really appreciate them, like writing awards for those of us who are screenwriters. It's really a big thing when you can put your name on an award like that. It's almost, because making films is a very collaborative thing and takes so many people to do it. But when it comes to screenwriting awards, man, that's just you in front of your computer, or if you type them out on a typewriter, which more people are going back to. But I remember Hemingway saying, writing is easy. You just sit down at the keyboard and bleed.
Yep.
I thought that was
great. Man. Yeah. I agree. The writing recognition is extra special for me.
Right.
I came up in a rough part of town in Hialeah, Florida, in Miami, and I went to a bad school. So I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm bad at spelling. I'm bad at reading. So it took me 8 years to join the Writers Guild. My scripts, when I'm done, they're just atrocious. I got to hire a Sri Lankan to fix the grammar because So to win or to get writing recognition for something that I'm not I don't have the brain for it, just blast through my mental barriers and get it done is extra special. And it proves that anyone can do it. If you really like something and you're really passionate, it doesn't matter what your limitations are.
Yeah, writing is a special thing, though. It's different than any other part. Writing and editing, I think, are where the movie is. And then, of course, you have, acting and cinematography and all that stuff that goes hand in hand with it. But I'd say the most lonely, yet satisfyingly lonely parts of filmmaking are in the screenwriting process and also in the editing bay, because that's where I think the movies are really made. That's where the storytelling happens,
Totally. I agree. Yeah. I agree. And having the benefit of being a writer-director, it helps because when I'm there shooting, I could improv and be fine. If actors wants to change a line, that's fine. I wrote it, so I could adjust the lines to make it sound more natural. I could tweak things to. Whereas a director that didn't write something, they might get lost in the sauce or might want to stick to the script. I don't need to stick to the script. I wrote the script. I could play a little jazz and tweak stuff. And then in the edit, again, I'm pretty good with story structure, so I can move scenes around. Happened in Blue Evening where when I assembled it, it worked on the page, but watching it, I wanted to start with more eye candy. So I actually shifted a scene forward and another scene back that had prettier visuals, because in a drama, there's no kung fu, there's no shooting, it's people talking. So I actually had to shift scenes around to open up with a little more eye candy, a little bit prettier images, cinematography-wise. And I was able to do that without messing up structure because I know the story structure. So it was beneficial to write and direct.
Sure. Well, I mean, producers and investors especially, once they find out you're not only the writer of a script that intrigues them in some way, but you're also the you're planning on directing, it cuts out so much, I don't want to say garbage, but it cuts out a lot of the process because it's in the director's head. He wrote it, he knows what he wants to see, and it just seems like, I don't know, maybe I'm saying that just because I am also a writer-director, but it seems
No, but you're right. You're right, brother. Yeah. I mean, I was watching a lot of Wong Kar-wai films, Chungking Express and In the Mood for Love.
Right.
Now, Wong Kar-wai started as a writer, but now that he directs, he improvises a bunch of stuff because he knows where he needs to go and how to put that together, because he's writing in his head. Even if he didn't specifically write it on paper, he could do that because he's a writer-director. When you're a writer-director, you know where you could bend and break the rules, which is advantageous.
Well, one of my early mentors was, and still a great friend of mine, is Alan Levy. Pretty amazing guy, but he created shows and directed a ton. He created the original Magnum PI. He created JAG and just so many shows. It's ridiculous. And never wrote a lick, never wrote a single episode of any of the shows he created. Even the pilots, he just would bring other writers on. He says, I can't get bogged down in that. I got to have somebody tell me what I'm shooting, then I figure out a way to shoot it. And I said, well, I don't, and that's great, but I can't believe you've never written a line. He goes, nah, just never have. And it's that to me, because we go back to John Milius, and that's all the guy ever does. He's just writing. He's like the Coen brothers. You look on their shelves at their office, and it's nothing but screenplays that have yet to be produced. Hundreds of them.
He's the man, bro. I need to get a John Milius autograph or something.
Well, we'll see. His health has been really bad. I haven't seen him in quite a while, but always very nice. Always very nice to me, and always very complimentary, and always there for, well, he was in the past, for a phone call if I needed advice or whatever. In fact, after COVID, I had a film that we had already shot in the UK for like 2 weeks, and I just getting the money back in and getting to finish the film was tough. And I called him, and I called another Walter Hill, who's another influence and mentor of mine, and asked him.
I love Walter Hill.
Yeah, and I just said, should I try to get this back off the ground? And they both said the same thing. Nope, move on. Maybe 5-10 years from now you can come back to that. But they said, trust me, just move on, make it fresh, because that whole COVID lockdown BS crap, it now lives with that script. It's now in the bloodstream of the script, is what John said. And so I just walked away when I said, I love hearing guys like that who have such a track record. When he said that it's in the bloodstream of your script now, I went, holy crap. I worked with Jack Green, who's Clint Eastwood cinematographer, and Jack, pretty amazing guy. And we were doing a 3-camera shoot, 35 millimeter. We had one camera on sticks, one on Steadicam, and then there was the third one. Well, what do you want to do with this third one? And he goes, well, let's put it on an Apple box. So we grabbed a crate, threw it on the ground, and the one of the camera ops set the camera down there, and he goes, no, put some sandbags under it. And we're going, what, sandbags? So we put the sandbags under the camera, and it wouldn't steady. It wouldn't stay there on the sandbags. So he goes, no, you have to hold it. So the camera op holds on to him and goes, I just go, why are we doing this? And he goes, because it'll add humanity to the shot.
Wow.
I just went, the sky opened up. And it was like Moses was speaking with the tablets.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's what I've learned more about filmmaking from cinematographers and writers than I ever did from other directors, or especially producers or actors.
Yeah, no, I agree, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't think I've ever asked you this, but I know we've talked a lot about filmmaking, but I don't know your filmmaking history. What was your journey? And I mean, where did you start off with that bug, and what got you into filmmaking? And I don't mean acting. I know you've done a lot of acting, but got you behind the hot seat to begin with.
Woodland Park Manor, one of Idyllwild, California's best-known and beloved lodging destinations, is a rustic treat for the casual overnighter or vacation traveller. With its many unique rooms and cottages and that special hideaway feel, Woodland Park Manor gives new meaning to the word relaxation. Nestled among the tall pines and centuries-old oak trees, the manor says Idyllwild the moment you enter the property. As a sponsor of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema since year one, all festival attendees are treated like family, because that's what you are to the proprietors. Woodland Park Manor, Idyllwild, California. Book your room now and tell them you're coming for the festival. You will love it.
Idyllwild, California is known for its many quaint shops, but none is more quaint or special than Charla Tea Company in downtown Idyllwild. With a wide variety of regional, international, and exotic blends to choose from, Charla is more than just a tea shop. It's an experience for the soul. As an official sponsor of the Idyllwild International Festival of Cinema, Charla Tea Company offers a discount for all festival badge holders. And what film festival journey would be complete without just the right tea bag in your travel cup? Charla Tea Company, Idyllwild, California. Experience it.
Looking for great Mexican cuisine in Idyllwild, California? Look no further than La Casita, Idyllwild's #1 spot for authentic Mexican fare, serving up both traditional and north-of-the-border specialties. La Casita is also famous for its great beer and wine selection, and the best margaritas to be found anywhere. La Casita, an official sponsor of the Idyllwild International Film Festival. and simply the best Mexican food around.
So, movies and passion for cinema has always been in my blood. My father's mother, when they were in Cuba, they all worked at a movie theater in Cuba. So when my father was a little kid, my dad's mom would sneak him into the movies, and he would just, instead of affording for daycare, would stay in the theater all day. So when we came to years later, he comes to Miami. I'm born in '84. All he knows is cinema, so that's how I learned English. So before I could speak in diapers, he sat me in front. I got pictures of me in diapers, literally watching movies with him. So I never not wanted to do anything else. There's nothing else I ever wanted to do. So around 7 years old, started doing theater. I did theater in elementary school, high school, college. I did at University of Miami. I worked with Luis Santiago. He's got like 8 Emmys, writer for Sesame Street and Capasa USA, a Spanish show. And then I did professional theater for Miami Shores Performing Arts Theater. But when I got the bug for writing and directing, is I couldn't afford to make films. So the only way I had to just do it myself. And I always had a crazy extensive DVD collection, and I would watch all the making of documentaries. And even before DVDs, I'd watch that movie Magic show on HBO,
right,
where you would see behind the scenes. And that's when I realized that, oh man, I could do this myself. I could just get it done myself. And I was very passionate about Steven Spielberg. And Spielberg, learning about Spielberg, because I love his movies so much, actually, where I got bit the bug of where, I could actually write and tell these stories myself and direct these stories myself. And I started studying Spielberg, and that's kind of how I broke in from acting to directing and writing. But I always wanted to be part of the movie industry my whole life.
Well, it's funny because even before we know we're studying film. When I was a real small kid, I mean 9, 10, I used to set my alarm on school nights, and my mom would say, yeah, go ahead, get up and watch that movie. This was before VCRs were a big thing at all, barely anybody had them. And I would get up and watch movies. I remember getting up and watching Once Upon a Time in the West, Sergio Leone, and just because my friends had talked about seeing it and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I got up and I'm sitting there watching that opening, not the opening gunfight scene with the harmonica, but the one right after that. It's a little boy, he's shooting pheasant with his dad, his dog's with him. He picks up the bird that they just shot, he grabs it, and it's very intimate. It's very close, kind of medium wide, and he's running through this gully, and then he goes up to this embankment, and there the camera booms up and fades back, and you see this ranch and you see this family out there and the kids running with the bird toward them. I didn't even know what I was studying film at the moment. I knew that I liked that shot, and there it was, establishing shot that told a whole bunch of the story in one shot. And I went, wow, that's crazy. And years later, when I realized what I was looking at, I go, I've been studying film, like you said, even your dad in the theater, because it was cheaper than daycare. Pretty amazing, man. And now, you've been to Idyllwild a couple of times, you know what it's all about, but people don't realize what starting that film festival has done to me to bring me back into the fold of where my roots are. Even before I was a filmmaker, I saw my first movie at the Rustic Theater when I was 5 years old, I think. It was The Man Who Loved Cat Dancing with Burt Reynolds. I remember it was yesterday, and now they have that. They have a poster of it up there in the theater, that old movie.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so my uncle Butch, who took me to that movie, my family's had land in Idyllwild for a while, so since the 40s. So yeah, I have a just an affinity for this town, but also my uncle was one of the founders of the timber festival that they used to have up here. They finally gave it up because the insurance was incredible. I mean, the guys with climbing poles with chainsaws, that's a pretty extensive and expensive event to hold. But just the fact that he was able to see me get the film festival started before he passed away, pretty damn cool. It's way cool, So
that's beautiful, man. That's really fucking cool.
Yeah, so people ask me, well, why did you start the festival? And I said, well, I had a film in Sundance in 2008 or 2007, and I forget what it was. I think it was 2008, and I took it it was an invited film at Sundance, and I saw this town of Park City making a buttload of money, and they're much bigger than Idyllwild. Park City's a bigger town. But I said, well, you know what? Idyllwild can probably benefit from one of these. And here, I thought I'd be lucky if I got through 3 of them, and then it faded. But now we're heading into year 18, and and then guys like you come along with your movies, and you elevate us, man. Your quality of filmmaking elevates the festival as a whole, which I really appreciate. I appreciate guys like you who are just like me, maverick kind of dudes who just do it, so I appreciate you bringing Blue Evening to us. Quite an achievement. I mean, best of festival. Come on.
I know. Thank you so much, man. Hearing you say that is quite the honor, and I really appreciate it. I loved it. It was shocking and a beautiful experience for me. And I agree with you. It's that maverick style filmmaking is what's gonna save the industry.
Yeah, of course. I think it was Coppola many, many years ago said how home video cameras had just started becoming a thing, and he said the next Orson Welles will be some 17-year-old fat girl from Des Moines who'll come up with something brilliant. That hasn't happened yet, but it's come damn close, And
yes,
I have a love-hate relationship with digital, with HD. I'm always pushing for film, and I think my next 2 movies I'm going to get back to 35, which I'm real happy about. It does kind of, people think it makes it more expensive. It doesn't. You can offset anything, especially when you go, well, if we're shooting digitally, I'm going to have to spend like $7,000-8,000 for hard drives alone. Well, that'll pay for a lot of filmmaking, and then film companies like Kodak and Fuji, they're giving film away right now just to get people to come back to it. And and
there's tricks. I'm dying to shoot on. I haven't done too much on film yet. I mean, I've been in front of the camera on film. I just did I worked on the new Channing Tatum film, Roofman, and they shot on 16. And I'm dying to shoot on 16. 16 can actually be legitimately cheaper if you're shooting on like an Alexa digital.
Yeah,
you can actually save money if you're on 16 mil. And guys like Matt Reeves is doing wild stuff where they'll shoot digital, but then they'll print it on film.
Yeah,
and then spit it back out into digital to edit it. And not that I want to do that, but I like that there's a conscious effort to make stuff on film. I would love to do something on 16 soon.
Well, my film from 20 years ago, Cosmic Radio, was shot on Super 16, and I love the look of that film. And when I saw it recently at the 20th anniversary screening, I watched it for the first time in 15, 16 years, and I watched it and just went, I'm shooting film. I'm going back to it. So I told the producers of this next film, I told the exec, and I told the UPM, figure it out because I'm shooting film. And she goes, yeah, we can do it. And I went, it just takes asking, But I don't think, my heroes don't shoot digitally. I mean, Tarantino or Scorsese or Coppola, the Coens, they don't shoot on digital. They shoot on film. And I want to be, not that I'm neck and neck with them, but I still want to be in that world, So sorry about that tangent.
No, that's what's beautiful about the podcast. I love the tangents, man.
Yeah.
I went to great lengths to make Blue Evening look like film.
Yeah.
We like even how we programmed the camera before even filming. I talked to my DP, and then when we went to a professional colorist house in Burbank. Shout out to K, I think it's K&M Studios.
Yeah, I know those guys. Yeah.
They've done all my stuff, and he had just so happened to he built out, before we even picked him up on Blue Evening, he had built out a crazy system to imitate film that he was just working on for himself as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he saw that what we shot was designed to like lend itself to something like that, he threw that on there. And it really gave it a film quality. But obviously, I would love to shoot on film.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, but it's like a film quality is, and I've shot a lot of digital, and it wasn't even out. It's just like you on certain budgets you don't even want to ask because it's just not going to happen. But now I'm working with bigger budgets where I can do the ask. And I saw Cosmic Radio and I said, that's it. I'm not shooting digitally ever again. And the thing is, I like using like on Cosmic Radio, the Super 16 was amazing, but we were using vintage lenses, and the lens package we got was phenomenal. They were all refurbished 70s lenses. And to me, that's where the look comes from, the box, the actual body of the camera itself, and the lens package. And so we're going to do the same thing. But my movies, I always want them to have that 70s drive-in look. We were talking about The Man Who Loved Cat Dancing and, Vanishing Point, and you look at those movies and they'd never even heard of digital. And now you see movies that are newer, like I was watching, my DP and I were looking for a look for this new film. And, we saw Hell or High Water, Jeff Bridges thing.
Nice.
It's Taylor Sheridan, who he asked me if I'd seen that movie before, did you get a chance? And I said, no, not yet, like an idiot. And I went, why did you not watch that? So I went back and I watched it to try to get the look, because he was saying, that's the movie that got the look that you're talking about. And so I watched it and I went, yep, that's exactly it. Or as I was mentioning with my last interview, Easy Rider, the guy who shot my thesis film was one of the camera ops on that. And
amazing.
Yeah, so it's just always been in my brain that's what movies should look like. They're so rich. And then when I've had actors, especially when we just did this 20th anniversary screening, actors who were in it said, man, it's just so beautiful. And I go, it is. Why am I not?
You can't beat a chemical reaction on the celluloid. I don't know if you watched this great documentary called Side by Side.
I have. Yeah.
I think they should do a sequel. And really explain the magic behind it. And ones and zeros are never going to compare to celluloid.
It's just that when you were talking about the Casablanca lecture that I did at Scotland. I did that all over at film schools and acting schools all over the place. And the thing about that is people now go, I'm making a movie in black and white because I love Casablanca, but they don't shoot it. They shoot it digitally, never going to look like black and white. They shoot it without knowing what lighting real black and white film is all about. So they basically shoot it on a color camera and then they just roll back all of the presence of color and call that a black and white film. And it's like
it's so funny that you bring that up, because the next project I'm working on is both black and white and color. We're jumping back and forth. We're doing cool. It's a weird noir thing where we're changing up aspect ratios and me with my same DP, we're studying these films, and he said the same exact thing that you mentioned, where people don't shoot for black and white. They just shoot and then in post change it to black and white. And that's not how that game works.
It's not black and white. I mean, you've killed all of the color, and that's not the same thing. I mean, it's
100%.
It's interesting you say that. You're shooting. You're going to be shooting the next project that you're talking about black and white, but you're going to bounce back and forth. And I was thinking, wow, that would be a cool thing that I wouldn't mind trying, is shooting part of a movie or half or a third of a movie in digital and then going to Super 16 black and white. That would be an interesting concept. That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. You've done quite a lot of acting, TV appearances. When exactly, I mean, was there a moment where you said, I like acting, it's fun to be on a set, but I really want to be making films, writing and directing? Do you remember a time where it just kind of happened?
Well, I always just, once I got old enough, once I hit my teens, I kind of realized that I wanted to write and direct and stuff. And I couldn't break in. But my skill set, I did martial arts my whole life and theater my whole life. So after high school, I got into professional wrestling because it combined theater and physicality, because I did martial arts and theater my whole life. So I went to pro wrestling school, turned pro, and started wrestling all over the world. Professionally, I was a master luchador for a very, very long time. So when trying to break into the film industry, I realized I could break in through stunts because my skill set, I could fall down without getting hurt, and I could fight. I could fake fight, which is pro wrestling, although we don't use the fake word, the F word in pro wrestling.
Right.
So I knew I always wanted to write and direct, but I had to get in, and I was able to get in through stunts and being physical. So I worked as a stuntman for a while and just trying to find my way to climb up the ladder.
That's kind of a typical thing. I know so many actors who became directors and dabbled a little bit for a few years, but in the end, we all just decide directing is what we want to do. It's just control freaks or whatever. So
the benefit of coming from stunts is you're always kind of in the hot seat where you're like someone's life is at stake when you're running stunts, and you're always communicating with all the departments.
Sure.
Stunt coordinators, they have to deal with wardrobe because you're changing wardrobe to hide pads, hide holes to cables. You're dealing with lighting. A lot of second unit directors are stunt department lighting. So the benefit of, as far as gaining experience when you're coming from the stunt world, is you have to speak with all departments, and you're dealing with bigger budgets, right? The wardrobe budget compared to the stunt budget, right, is different. And it's life or death, literally.
Right.
So when you go from stunts to directing, like when I jumped over to direct a drama for Blue Evening, I didn't feel the pressure because I'm not setting anybody on fire. So this is great.
Right. That's funny. All right. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of The Stephen Savage Show. I'd like to thank my producer, Nicole Hughes Bradshaw, executive producer Steve Tuma, engineer Maurice Sudo, and all the Savage podcasting team. And to all of you for downloading and listening in, which helps us keep our numbers way up there in the stratosphere on all platforms. I'm grateful. So, for Jet Jansen Fernandez, and of course our earlier guests, Brett Bosch and Nick Costello, as well as for myself, have a great week ahead, and we will see you next time. Thanks again, Jet.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.